escucha? ¿Sí? Pues damos continuidad a esta presentación. Ron nos va a mostrar con un poco más de detalle la experiencia de la herramienta.
Okay, thanks again for listening. Right now we get to the exciting stuff. So I don't know, last week we had a press release that went out that Cappitech and Intermoney, we've cooperation that we've gone public with in the market. And one of the things that what we're doing is we've partnered to provide an end-to-end service for companies to help them with their SFTR reporting. What does that mean end-to-end? So it's really end-to-end. Intermoney is, they're involved with they provide all the consultancy services for helping clients be able to unify the data that they get out of their out of their different systems, being able to review the data fields that are needed, look for any gaps, and then that information gets to Cappitech, and we help with the reporting. So a couple of things here as we do is that we can provide we can do a delegated reporting solution. So if you're a bank or a sell-side company and you want to do delegated reporting for your clients, this is something that Cappitech and Intermoney can assist with. We also do gap analysis to just go over your different products, see what's there and what needs to be reported. And last but not least, the more important, just really automating the entire. Once we know where the data is coming from, we could do the automated the entire process. Okay, just a quick note on the underlying structure. On the left there, you have these are the different. Cappitech can collect different types of data sets. We either receive as a pool where we'll through API collect data from our clients, or they send it to us through a CSV, XML, directly to us through an FTP. Once the data gets comes to Cappitech, there's a few different layers that we do. So we take the data, whether let's say someone has 4 different platforms, we could take the individual files from those 4 different platforms, we transform it into a unified data set. We then run different enrichment processes in order to add, let's say if you have specific symbols, specific symbols need to have enriched with price currencies or different ISINs. We can do we have reference files that we build on our system to do the enrichment. We run different validation levels, validation engines. Validation engines include both filtering out products that are not in scope, filtering out say trades, let's say test trades, accounts that have to be excluded, or just validation of information that is not compliant with the reporting. Once that data is there, it's all we then take it and then create the final SFTR report in the XML version, as we mentioned, and that goes to the trade repository of your choice. And once everything is submitted, everything is then showed on our platform, which I'm going to show you. A second. Let's go. Okay. All right. So this is the Cappitech Captivate platform. It's multi-jurisdiction. See here, it's very intuitive. You can have EMIR, ASIC, different types of reports that are available all in one platform. Very easy to use. Let's say we want to look at last month's data. It supports divisions of different message types. Let's say for EMIR, you only want to look at the new trades. For example, you could quickly focus on specific dates. Like how many were reported on any specific date. You can also look at specific asset classes. In general, our clients that are using this, the main page, this is they do it like a basic reconciliation. They know might have 1,000 derivatives that I'm trading, and I want to make sure that's being reported, so they could quickly look on this here and just make sure that the numbers are in sync. When it comes to regulatory needs, there's also the availability to download the actual files themselves and you can open that and see the actual files, and this is the information that comes to that we get back from the repositories and from the regulators, from the NCA for MiFID II. And that gives you an ability to do a deeper reconciliation. And so this is just the basic. One of the things that when we, as a company that focuses on transaction reporting, one of the areas that we believe that's important is trying to provide value, additional value with that information. Because, you know, reporting is more of just a cost. You know, I have to report, I have to do it. It's kind of the regulators want it, but no one really wants to get it, wants to do it. So the goal of Cappitech is we're really trying to provide as much value in the information. So on top of the transaction, the transaction data that we collect, we've also created a few different modules that are also available on the platform. One of them is the insights, and this is something we created specifically for MiFID II. We understood that there's quite a few, but we also believe for SFTR is going to be very important. Let me just go for a few. We created this specifically for MiFID II, and what we understood was a lot of companies that they knew that they're reporting, but they didn't understand whether they're reporting correctly or not. So what we did with insights is there's a couple different things. So one, on the left here, you have all of your rejected, anything that was rejected, and these are the top rejected reasons. So for example, here it says underlying instrument, or there was a problem with the actual person data. How does this help you? What this does is, as a compliance person, you know, you want to improve your reporting, and this makes it very easy to look at to where do I have to focus on my reporting. Where, you know, if I know that, for example, here we see that there were 40,000 rejected reports out of 188, and 35,000 of them, there were 37,000 had to do with underlying, with ISINs and personal details, then that means where am I going to focus all of my data quality? I'm going to focus on ISINs and client identifiers. And that makes it a lot easier to be able to improve your reporting. We call it KPIs for compliance. It's really important to know how I'm reporting and what, like, whether my reporting is improving. And this is an easy way to do that. You can just like kind of look for a few different dates and look at whether the reporting is improving during those periods. In addition, we also have here is a peer review, and this shows the rejection rates for both you and our entire client base. And this gives a peer review that kind of like a reference point. You know, you might think that your reporting is really good and you're not done having that errors. Now you have a reference point to be able to compare it to. In addition, you also see here these internally, on the right, internally identified. These are ones that were fixed. These are rejections that never got to the regulator. These are ones that Cappitech's validation rules were able to remove. And we know when it comes to sending important information to the regulator, it's important to have as few rejections that get to the regulator as possible, and we have the different validation elements to limit those. There's also a ability to see how often trades were reported late. You know, if it's blue, it means it was on time. Yellow would be up to a week late. If you see certain areas that were up to a week late or up to a month, then you know that, okay, we have certain issues there we have to fix up and understand why that happened. Okay. Not as applicable to SFTR, but another thing we've built here is also a best execution module, where we take data from our clients and then we take the execution timestamp and we compare it to external market data in order to see whether those prices were done at the expected rate. So, for example, say that you could have like the different stocks and just look at what the executions are, and then versus the rates in the market at that time and whether the prices were in or out of the market. Although it's not something like this is more compatible for exchange traded products like stocks or spot products like FX, it shows a little bit about the kind of the computations that we can do at Cappitech, and we've also had questions for, can you take my existing market data, and if I give you a different reference rate, can you create this type of screen? So if you have, different repo analysis, and et cetera, that if there is a market data that we could take to compare it to, this is also something that could be applied to the data. Last, just very quickly, we also built something for specifically for companies that are doing delegated reporting or have a few different units. This is the master account view, where from here you could see, if you're delegating for 10 different companies, you'll have this screen and you'll see all of your different clients you're reporting for. And then on the master account, you'll be able to see the individual clients, and you can also download specific files for each of your individual clients. So it makes it a lot of data and transparency when it comes to the reporting. And this is what we feel is a few of the main items that we're trying to tackle. Any questions? No? Okay. So this is the module. I want to spend just a few minutes on just how the process works, and I'll make it quick. Okay, so we said how we can take the information and where is. At Cappitech, we really focus on data. And why is that important? When it comes down to it, when you do a report, whether it's EMIR or SFTR, who knows what's going to be around in the next few years, it all comes down to knowing what data is available to do the report. Often, companies will say, I have the data that's needed to do the report, but it might not be, it might be in a PDF file, it might be in something you have to download manually. It's really important, the way we look at it is understanding, A, where is that information available, and and how, and does it fit in all the information that we do. So we do, when we first onboard a client, first thing we do is we do a business review, understand what is being reported and whether all the information is not there. If the information is not there, then we'll start building data. So we'll build reference files. This includes matching account numbers and LEIs, or mapping out of different symbols and ISIN and exchange codes. As mentioned, we can connect to different types of systems, whether it's through CSV or through an API. Once we know where the data is coming from and we know how we're going to get it, so the next step for us is the rules engine development. What does that mean? So there's 3 sections here. One is the mapping. So on the left there on the first page, you have trade ID. This is the mapping, what we do of the file format that we're getting from our clients, and then mapping it to the SFTR or EMIR or whatever regulation it is. Next thing, and this is all done on a per client level that we develop for our clients. The next step is doing enrichment. Once we also build the static enrichment files, and whatever we can build in-house to have enriched, we'll do on our side in order to reduce the actual data that we're collecting from our clients. And this can be static things that never change, like whether there's a clearing obligation, settlement methods, different things like that. And the last, we have the filters that we also, per client, include, whether something's in scope, test, foreign accounts, delegated reporting. An example that we just got yesterday was we have a MiFID II client, and they onboarded a new money manager for a few of their different clients. So what we're going to be building into them is, when account number, let's say 1, 2, 3 trades, that the decision makers should be such and such. These are customized filters and enrichments that we're building. Why is that important to be doing this customized logic? It really adds a lot of flexibility on the data we can report, we receive and we report from our clients. It means, on the left, like we can collect any different, if someone wants to give a data dump, and we do this for a number of our MiFID II clients where they just give us everything, and they tell us, you filter out for what's in scope, we can do that. And also in terms of reference data, because we're building our own reference data sets, if things change, if there's new ISINs, new symbols, those are easily to be adapted. Some other things that we also include, as I mentioned, the best execution and the insights. We also help companies with RTS 27 and 28, if that's ever needed, different market conditions. Just quickly about security, we're obviously GDPR compliant. We have separate databases if needed for UK and EU as well. These are, I'll let if you have specific security questions, our CEO, who's an engineer, will be the best person to address it to. Okay, I want to just do a few different client case studies examples that we've done. Earlier I mentioned how EMIR, one of the problems that ESMA has encountered is companies are incorrectly doing position calculations. As an example, we had a client, we had an institutional broker that they came to us because they were incorrectly calculating their positions. So they were using a different trade repository, and we told them to send us the data you're already sending to this trade repository. You don't have to make any changes on your end. We took that information, we did the compression and the per client calculations for them on our side in order to fix it, and now these reports are being done correctly according to the EMIR standards. Another one that happened for MiFID II is order and fills from, for separate files. There was an asset manager that was using an OMS system that could create a Bloomberg ARM format, but it wasn't a full report, so they always had to manually do things. They had to take information from a different file and then enrich it. And we said, give us both files, we'll take that information, be able to separate it, do the aggregation of the fills, and be able to separate the fills and orders from separate files. I believe this will also become very important for SFTR. Back in November, I don't know how many of you were involved with it, when EMIR 2 when they had the update for EMIR 2 to EMIR 3, because a lot of that reference data is being built in-house at Cappitech, when there was a migration to EMIR 3, a lot of our customers have very little information that they actually had to update. Why? Because a lot of the field formats that changed or new formats that were static, we did it on our hand, and then our clients didn't have to send us new trades, specifically about the CFI and ISIN codes that we handle. So just to wrap it up, overall our kind of like our sell to the compliance officer, and we really think we could cover all the different aspects that they need. Keeping up with the regulation, when there's going to be SFTR 2, EMIR 4, we're always adapting our technology for that to make it less that has to be changed on our client's end. Our integrations are quite quick. If you're already reporting, specifically if you're already reporting, you're already using a specific trade repository and ARM, we're already, we're formatted with most of the popular systems and formats in order to make that migration to a different trade repository quite quickly. So we have different security measures. We saw the dashboard, really easy to use, make it easy to understand how to view things. And last but not least, just it's a one-stop shop. We can handle different regulations, and I'm excited about what we're doing with Intermoney, because I know that Intermoney is working with quite a few different client types, whether it's whether it's energy companies, doing renewable energy, which is a new product that's coming online, or those type of brokers or banks, and across different asset classes. We feel that working together with their expertise with their clients, as well as our our platform being very flexible, being able to handle different asset classes, should make it a very good partnership. Yes.
What's normal? What fields are normally need to be enriched? I mean, which is the missing part as an average in the reporting from entity?
Okay, so enrichment is a good question. There's two philosophies on enrichment. The first thing you do is you want to look at what is on your dynamic data, your trade, whether it's whatever trade data is there, and you want to be able to map out what's missing from there, and then all that information has to be enriched. And so the two philosophies are A, you do something called a symbol matching, where you'll have a, basically these are the different symbols that we're trading. It could be for the different products, whether it's like ETDs. A lot of those products have a very similar format, and you take all those different products, and then along with that, we do the enrichment for the product codes, whether it's ISIN, whether it's a price currency, the different size ones. So those are the product items that have to be enriched, and that's typically done. There's two. Either a company would say these are the products we're trading in. Cappitech creates those. Will house that information, or what we do is we help our clients kind of if they're trading different products all the time, then we'll help them be able to do that. In addition to enrichment, there's also what came up when we're speaking is during valuations, and you have to do valuations for different market data, and that's enrichment for there when there's changes of exposure. What we do is we work with Refinitiv as external market data in order to be able to capture their information for the valuations, and that makes it that the valuation enrichment is be able to be automated through those through the market data.
Si alguien quiere hacer una pregunta en español, se la podéis hacer.
Sí, sin ningún problema.
La traducirá para Ron. Si no, yo tengo otra pregunta que es what's the timing of implementing the solution? I mean, from when someone gets in contact with you until they can do the first reporting, what's the kind of time normal?
It depends what someone's doing. If obviously if it's for SFTR, we're saying come to us as quickly as possible because there's a lot of open questions because it's new. If it's a standard EMIR or MiFID and someone's already reporting, that can be done as quickly as 2 weeks. But typically we say 4 to 6 weeks is a normal integration cycle. But it also we also need our clients to be involved with it. Yeah, Paul.
My question actually is very similar. It was around implementation. I'm sure there's many people here with disparate systems of information. Can you go into a little bit more detail about what it takes to actually get the system installed in terms of how it talks to different systems within most of the customers you see, and you get the data all into one place?
Okay, so let me go back to that. Here. Okay, I know the text is a little small. So the first question we ask is what data is available. So if there's a client that's working on a few different trading platforms, then that would mean that let's say they have three platforms, 3 brokers that they're collecting information from. So on our end, that means that there's 3 different integrations that we do because we have to be able to read 3 different files, whether it's UBS, JP Morgan, and maybe a Bloomberg format. So if it's a CSV file, what we would do is we would open up a FTP folder for our clients, and they would just send it to us via FTP. There's a certain naming convention, so we know what everything is. It's standard across the industry. On our end, we we first, we sit with our clients, we'll have a few different, either, typically they're done by Skype, because we have just Cappitech, we're an Israeli company, but we have our support staff both in Cyprus, Israel, and Dublin. So depending on who's involved with it, you can have a Skype call with a few people from different, we go over the different formats, over the data to, understand exactly what it is. And then on our end, we do the mapping of it. So we create that, we open up the FTP where that data is sent to. Once it gets to us, there's about 2 weeks of really like doing the work to do the mapping, and then probably like another week or two to doing testing, and then the actual reporting. Does that answer?
But one word, I want to, catch in one word what you said. There is no installation. This is all in the cloud, and the GUI itself is in the browser, so I could log in from my telephone, from my iPhone, from my iPad, or from my computer. We're using here the local machine to present the application. So there is no installation. It's only send us the file or give us access to pull the data from your system. That's all. That's the only touch point with the end client. And the other thing I would say, because we now have more than 100 clients that we're servicing, we probably have seen most of the formats that are available in the market. So if you're using a Bloomberg or a Fidesa, we are trading with that broker, or we've seen most of them already, and we'll have an out-of-the-box plugin to connect to those data. So there isn't even any development done on our side to do it.
¿Alguna pregunta adicional?
Yeah, it's good. Sure. Okay, so this is just a selection of our clients. So we have probably the majority of them, I would say, are brokers, whether it's retail and institutional across different, whether it's exchange traded products or OTC. And then the other half is asset managers are probably the 30% or so, and then some banks, a few non-financial companies, and insurance companies. A very wide variety of companies and trading different products. So.
And just in terms of geos, in Europe, we have clients in 13 different countries. Yes, 1 3.
¿Alguna otra duda que queráis comentar? Anything you would like to add? Okay. Bueno, hemos presentado la herramienta y hemos hablado de la normativa en este evento. La verdad es que nosotros creemos, y por eso hemos seleccionado a Cappitech, que es una solución que a nosotros como grupo nos funciona para hacer el reporting delegado y también usarlo internamente. Las prestaciones que tiene nos parecen interesantes y bastante de las más sencillas de implementar de las que hemos visto cuando tras otros competidores del proceso de reporting a reguladores, y en ese aspecto pues queríamos tener esta oportunidad de contaros la solución que vamos a implementar y también mandar el mensaje a todos los market players de que la normativa SFTR está encima, que es el momento de empezar a actuar, que aunque estamos esperando los guidelines para final del último trimestre, los tiempos de respuesta son muy limitados y hay un proceso bastante más complejo, diría yo, que lo que pasamos con EMIR en cuanto a homogeneización de información que no debemos dejar pasar. Hay un elemento que juega a nuestro favor y es la experiencia que hemos vivido con EMIR, pero el scope de los mercados de valores es bastante más amplio y por lo tanto economías de escala es un elemento a tomar en cuenta de cara al nuevo reto que vamos a afrontar el año que viene. Igualmente, agradeceros el haber venido, estamos a vuestra disposición para cualquier duda que tengáis sobre la normativa, sobre las soluciones que estamos implementando en Intermoney Cappitech. Y pues gracias por venir y estaremos en contacto. Muy bien, gracias.